You don't forgive if you're stuck in anger, and you can't move past anger if you don't feel sadness. The tenderness beneath the rage is where you heal. Man, that's deep too. The tenderness beneath the rage is where you heal. If you don't forgive if you're stuck in anger. Why do we get stuck in anger? We get stuck in anger if we don't study the emotion, the source of the emotion, the cause of the emotion. Why do we have this anger? Where does it come from? Welcome to DFW Grit. I'm Dr. James Taylor and I'm your host, and this is more than just a podcast. We dive into the stories of the movers, the shakers, the small business owners, the entrepreneurs, right here in the DFW Metroplex. This is your home for authentic, real stories that prove what happens when you don't back down. Let's get to work. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dr. Taylor with another episode of DFW Grit. As always, like, share, follow. I've got a good one today, and it's a bit of a harken back to previous episodes. For those of you that have been following along from the inception, one, thank you. But number two, there were a few episodes, more than a few, at the beginning that started off just like this. They were inspired by a meme. They were inspired by social media, as was this. To set the stage for you, there has been many a meme that I have come across in my day, in some way, shape, or form, pledging thanks, pledging gratitude to you the night before, i.e., the memes went something to the effect of, you wake up in the morning after a night out, a night of partying, a night of gallivanting around with your friends, probably involving excessive and or copious amounts of alcohol, and you roll over, and what do you see on your nightstand? A glass of water. Why? Because you, from the night before, knew that you, in the future, the morning after, would need a little sip, would need some hydration. So you praised and thanked yourself from the night before. Hey, thanks, drunk me, for looking out for sober me. Now, I was not drunk last night. I am not drunk right now. But I sat down this morning. I'm like, okay, what am I going to talk about today? So I opened up my handy dandy Remarkable here, and I keep all of my outlines for past podcasts. And apparently, I write down outlines for future podcasts. So I sat down, not exactly knowing what I was going to talk about. I opened up my outline folder and went to the last thing I wrote. I was going to put in a new page, but the last thing I wrote was an outline for a podcast that I haven't recorded yet. So thanks, past me, for looking out for future me. This, I don't know. It says it was edited 29 days ago. So apparently 29 days ago, I saw a list of things on, I believe it was on Instagram, and it's titled Happiness Cheat Codes I Know at 41 That I Wish I Knew at 21. So let's get into it. Number one, you don't need a total reset. You need an honest sit down with yourself about what you've been running from. Fact. So this is quite appropriate. Oddly enough, 29 days ago. Okay, it is currently middle of February. So 29 days ago, it was about the middle of January. So that makes sense then. This was a New Year's reflection post that I came across. And what does everyone do in the new year? New year, new me, right? Total reset. I'm starting over. I've touched on this on a couple of previous podcasts that we'll use working out as an example. If it's the new year, and it doesn't have to be the new year, the new you can start right now. You don't have to wait till the first of a month. You don't have to wait till Monday, whatever. It can, best time to do it is now. But what does everyone do in the new year? New year, new me. We'll use working out or losing weight as an example. If you want to start working out, and this can mean anything, if you want to start writing affirmations, if you want to start being a better person, if you want to start eating right, you don't necessarily need a total reset. You need an honest sit down with why you haven't been doing it in the first place. If you haven't been working out for the previous 365 days and you decide you're going to start working out 5 days a week, that's a big jump. Maybe a better idea would just be an honest sit down and an honest reflection with yourself about what you've been running from. Number two, don't wait to be don't wait to be healed to be happy. Being happy is how you heal. This is why affirmations work. Okay. This is why, if you follow along on Instagram, you see that every day, or at the very least every weekday, I write down my morning pages. And what they are, again, I've talked about this before, it is a stream of conscious thought, has to fill the whole page, and it has to be positive, and it has to be what you want in the future, but spoken as it is in the present. Talk about it as if it has already happened. Write it down as if it has already happened. If you are waiting to be happy to be healed, you're going to wait for a long time. So don't wait to be healed to be happy. Be happy and you will heal. And it's absolutely true. I'm having a bit of a struggle with this from the parenting aspect with my son. I ask him every day, hey, how was your day? How was your day? How was your day? What'd you do? And if I don't put any qualifiers on it, if I just ask it like that, my son invariably, Calvin, will talk about bad things that happened to him. And he's 6, so they're not the world's greatest problems, but how was your day? So-and-so hit me today. So-and-so took my toy at circle time. Okay, well, I'm sorry that happened, man. What are some cool things that happen? What are some good things that happen? So if I don't remember it on the initial, how was your day? He certainly triggers me to remember to reframe the question. Hey, man, what's something cool that happened today? What's something great that happened today? Because I want him to notice the good things. It's really easy for kids, hell, and adults to notice the bad things. For some reason, it's really easy for us to ignore the good things. And both myself and my wife are extremely positive people. Sometimes we got to force it, sometimes it comes easy, but it's interesting to see from the perspective of a 6-year-old. Hey, dude, what happened today? Hey, daddy, here's some bad things that happened. Now, we don't ignore those things, we acknowledge those things, but then we pull, I, I pull the good things from him. Man, I'm sorry that happened to you. That Emmett wasn't nice to you at recess. What'd you do today that made you smile, though? Does anything make you laugh today? Let's think of those good things. You don't want to be healed to be happy. Being happy is how you heal. Self-care isn't always trash TV and bubble baths. It's also hard conversations, amends, deep work, and breakups. Make sure self-care isn't simply ego care. This, I think, honestly, I go a little deep in the direction that this is. I've always been, I've spoken about in the past, you know, oh, I'm highly blessed because I got all green lights on the way to work today. Okay, cool. Like that's again, you're looking for the good things, but also too, like I need some self-care. A lot of times, and just in my perspective, from what social media delivers to me, a lot of times it seems like people mistake self-care for ego care. I'm going to take a bubble bath. I'm going to work out. From the male perspective, I see this quite a bit. I got to go work out today. Well, you should absolutely, but are you doing it as a way to avoid other things that you should be doing? Are you doing it as a way? I've got this good thing, which we'll all agree a bubble bath is a good thing. Getting your hair did is a good thing. Working out is a good thing. Going for a run is a good thing. But are you using this good thing to ignore another good thing, but a harder thing to do? Hard conversations are hard, man. Hard conversations suck. I've talked about this in the past too, as far as just from a managerial standpoint. I have trouble having hard conversations with my employees. I don't want to make them feel bad. I don't want to let them know that they're not living up to my expectations, that they're living up to my standards or the standards that I set for the office. Those are like I don't like to tell people. I don't like okay, hold on. I don't like to tell people that I care about that they're falling short. I've got a real knack for telling people I don't care about where they're not succeeding, but that's neither here nor there. It might be here and there. It probably fits in here somewhere. But yeah, make sure your self-care isn't just ego care. Make sure your self-care isn't a way for you to avoid doing the hard things that you should be doing for self-care. Don't let the pursuit of a better future distract you from developing the skill of being present. A better life does not mean much if you don't know how to be there for it. Man, this one, shit, this is appropriate. I just got back from a 6-day vacation in Scotland with my wife, Tamika. Side note, check out her podcast, Say More Words. She's amazing. But while we were on the vacation, we went there to go catch a rugby game, to go visit the Scotland College of Chiropractic, and to go talk to the students. But in so doing, it was just us. We had a nanny watching our kids. We didn't have friends with us. There are some people there that we met up with. There was no seminars. There was no business stuff. And we realized this was the first vacation that her and I had taken in 6 years just for us. And it kind of blew my mind. We have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. And one of the things we used to do more often when they were younger, and certainly more often before they came around, and this is probably just part of parenting, is we would go on trips by ourselves. Once a month, maybe once every other month, just to quote unquote get away, to reconnect. We go on trips where we had nothing that was expected of us other than to go away. And we realized, man, this was the first time in 6 years that we've done that. Now, don't get me wrong. I love seminars. I love learning. I love the experiences that we have on these seminars. I love taking my kids to Disney World. It's wonderful. But to go on this trip and realize, holy shit, we haven't done this in 6 years. It was awesome. It really was. So again, good thing I didn't read through this. This is a wonderful little cathartic experience. Don't let the pursuit of a better future distract you from developing the skill of being present. Next one here. To truly unwind your tension, don't do anything. Simply watch every thought, every emotion, sensation, urge arise and pass in your awareness. Again, man, this is wonderful. Past episode, I had talked about how I got a new phone and not everything transferred over. I switched from the Android to the iPhone. Not all the contacts transferred over, not all the pictures transferred over. My alarms didn't transfer over. And one of the things that was on my old phone was an alarm that would go off every day at 12:30, and it just simply said gratitude. And what it was a reminder for me to spend 7 minutes. Why 7 minutes? 7 minutes in heaven. Whatever. Take from that what you will. But to spend 7 minutes sitting in gratitude, sitting in conscious awareness of my thoughts, to have these things come in, acknowledge them, and pass on out. If the thought came that I wanted to hold on to, I would hold on to it. But I got a new phone. Shit hit the fan. The alarm didn't transfer over. And I realized, after like a year or so, I'd gone a year without being grateful, without having the reminder to be grateful, without having the reminder to just sit in my own thoughts, to let things come in, to feel them, acknowledge them, and either hold on to them or let them pass. Next one here. The happiness you look for is on the other side of the sadness you won't let yourself feel. One of the things I feel that I've done a very good job at throughout this whole experiment that this podcast is doing more self-reflection, doing more inner thinking, and sitting in some of those shitty thoughts, those shitty times. Again, it took me a long time to go through things that I needed to tell my staff that I knew exactly wasn't great. To tell things to my wife that I knew exactly wasn't great. Because there's a certain aspect of growing up as a man in America that, hey, bad things happen and you just got to deal with them. You know what? There's 100% truth in that. But part of dealing with them is letting the other people who might be involved in those things know that those things exist. There's a wonderful, again, past episode. I've got a lot of good past insights. There's something to the effect of unvocalized expectations are premeditated resentments. And I think that's exactly what this speaks to. Next one here. If you want to let go, fall in love with the part of you that is holding on. Love softens the fear that causes us to grip. As I sit here before you, I'm not sure what that means. I should probably sit on that one a little bit more. I like the way it's written. If you want to let go, fall in love with the part of you that is holding on. Love softens the fear that causes us to grip. It's going to take a little bit more introspection than what I have time for right now, but I do like it. Sit on that one yourself. How does that make you feel? What's that make you think about? Personally, I think I need a little more time to figure that one out. Next one. If you refuse to heal your path, you will subconsciously build a life from desperation rather than inspiration. Oh, that's offensive. If you refuse to heal your pain, you will subconsciously build a life from desperation rather than inspiration. What's the pain? What is the pain? If you feel to heal your pain, you'll subconsciously build a life from desperation. Sounds like you'll subconsciously build walls. Build walls around that pain. You'll build that resentment. Part of healing your pain is sitting in your pain. Man, I'm noticing a pattern here. Sitting in your thoughts, acknowledging your thoughts, studying your thoughts. Next one here. If you don't forgive, no, you don't forgive if you're stuck in anger, and you can't move past anger if you don't feel sadness. The tenderness beneath the rage is where you heal. Man, that's deep too. The tenderness beneath the rage is where you heal. If you don't forgive if you're stuck in anger. Why do we get stuck in anger? We get stuck in anger if we don't study the emotion, the source of the emotion, the cause of the emotion. Why do we have this anger? Where does it come from? It's either going to come from ourself, something that we did or didn't do, and we're upset with ourselves because of it, or it's going to come from something that somebody did or didn't do and our reaction to it. Now, if we don't talk about this, if we don't tell this person this thing, this source of our anger, if you do nothing, nothing changes. And part of that nothing is communication. If you don't communicate with the cause of your anger, the cause of the reaction that you have, which is anger, then you just sit in it and you stew in it. The tenderness beneath the rage is where you heal. We got to talk about that rage. You don't skip steps in healing. You have to meet the layer of pain that is present. Feel what is asking to be felt. Let it take you to the next layer and be patient as you unwind back into yourself. Man, I hope I saved this post. This stuff is deep. Let it take you to the next layer. Be patient as you unwind back into yourself. And again, that tells me that it's something you have to sit in, you have to study. Where do these feelings come from? What is the cause of these? What is the correlation between these and hell, the past life you've lived, the future life you want to live, and the current life you're sitting in? The more comfortable you become in your own self, the less you need to manufacture the world around you for your comfort. Shit, that's cool. Dude, that's some monk stuff. The more comfortable you are, there it is. The more comfortable you are in your own skin, the less you need to manufacture the world around you. The more comfortable you become in your own authenticity, the more comfortable you become in your own skin, in your own self, the more comfortable with what you are, the more gratitude you have for what you have and where you are, the less you need to manufacture the world around you for your own comfort, the less you need to post on Instagram about the cool things you have, or heck, the cool things you're around. Are you at a car show and you're taking pictures in front of cool cars that aren't yours, but you're just kind of posting it on there? Interesting. Last one I have here. You don't need to get married to be happy. You don't need to have kids to be happy. You don't need to be rich to be happy. You just need to be able to come back to an open heart in spite of all the reasons life gives you to close it. Man, that's hard. That is absolutely hard sometimes to come back to an open heart. You don't need all these things outside of you to be happy. You just need to come back to an open heart in spite of all the reasons life gives you to close it. Because I think we can all agree life gives us plenty of reasons to close it. Speaking from my own perspective, which is the only perspective I have, kind of going back to what we were talking about before in here, man, especially if you're a dude growing up in America, life gives you a lot of reasons to close your heart. It gives you a lot of reasons to close off those around you. You are a man. You're expected to just put your head down, grin, and bear it. And that gets heavy. That feels heavy. I've lived that life. I guarantee a grand majority of the men who come across this podcast have lived that life. Life gives us a myriad of reasons to close our heart because we're just supposed to do it. We're supposed to rub dirt on it. We're supposed to walk it off. We're supposed to grin and bear it and just do it. We are supposed to provide. That's hard. It's hard every single day. And what it does is it causes us to forget the things that we should open our heart to. This is very flowery. Hell, even saying that, the traditional man in me is like, that sounds fruity. That sounds soft. It sounds soft. But why? Why is it soft? It's not, you're not opening your heart to new potential things that might hurt it and cause it to be closed more, but you're opening your heart to things that at least in my perspective here, things that you already like. Go back to the good things that you have. Go back to the good memories you have, the good people you have. That's why you keep a closed circle. It's easier to trust a close, not closed, close circle. This was interesting. Thanks, past me. It gave me some things to think about. I hope it gave you some things to think about. So, as always, like, share, follow. Heck, if I can find this post, maybe I'll like, share, and follow that. I'll give it out to you guys. But otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. I hope your 2025 is going off to a great start. If it's not, sit in thought about some of these things we covered today. There's some deep stuff in here. There really is. I've talked a bunch in previous episodes too. This is kind of sound like a broken record, but on just self-study. I've talked about it in the form of coaches, but hell, let's just talk about it in the form of ourselves. There's plenty of good coaches out there who've done a lot of self-study. There's plenty of shitty coaches out there who haven't. Those people suck. But if you haven't done it either, does that mean you suck? Maybe not. Maybe you don't suck, but maybe you could do a little better. Sit and enumerate? I don't think that's the right word. Sit and study some of these questions for yourself. Whichever one or two just spoke to you, kind of jumped out at you. Hell, whichever one or two or three of them kind of hurt when I read it. Because I got a few that I came across here. So, once again, thanks, past me, for setting future me up for success. As always, like, share, follow. Still always open for guests. There's only one caveat. I want you to be in the DFW area. This is DFW Grit. We are building this root system. We are building this foundation here in DFW. So, if you want to be on the podcast, you've got a cool story to share, slide into our DMs. We'll get the ball rolling on the interview process. We'll get you in the seat next to me, or we'll get you right here online, right here on DFW Grit. Because as always, you will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. You guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you on the next one. Bye.